What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Underdog Fantasy Best Ball Mania show here on RotoGrinders. I am your host for today, Britt Devine, here with Mr. G. Neefer, Grant. Who let the dogs out, buddy?
Darn construction workers. Yeah. Sorry, they might hear one bark. I think they're outside now. But you know how construction workers are. Say they'll be here at 10 and they show up at 11.
Hey, you're lucky if you can get construction workers to show up at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, no, it's a nightmare. 2 trees fell on my house, and that was 3 months ago, and we still have almost nothing finished.
Oh, boy, I'm having a little remodeling done at my house, but we'll save that for another one. We are 3 left to join. Hey, Britt, how do I join? This is on Underdog Fantasy. If you don't have the app, go download it from your app store on iPhone or Android. You can also go to UnderdogFantasy.com when you sign up. Use promo code Grinders. No big bonus or anything like that, but there is some stuff for some free swag and some free RG Premium if you use the promo code Grinders when you signed up. GRINDERS will get you in the running to possibly win some free stuff here on RotoGrinders. This tournament we're in today, it is a $25 entry fee. You can enter it up to 150 times. It is $1 million tournament with $200,000 to first place. If you do not have $25, right, if that's a lot for you, they also have a $5 version of this, which is a little bit cheaper for the small ballers out there. If the 25 is a big amount to you, they do have you covered with the $5 entry fee. Grant, we are one more to start. We started this a little bit early. I'm ready to have some fun today. There's all sorts of news. Do you pay attention to the NFL news cycle? Because there's a couple little tidbits have been dropping over the past couple days. Let me guess. I get like the last freaking pick again. No, you got the 11th. I got the 9th. I swear, what do I got to do to get like the 101 through like 104 in one of these things? Who do I got to talk to?
I don't know. I don't know. I think you got to do some back alley deals.
Go ask Jeremy what it takes to get into these. But I guess I want to talk a couple bits of news. Maybe people haven't seen it over the past couple of days. Look, this is a friendly environment, so I'm going to give you some information. Some stuff has come out in the Chiefs backfield over the past couple of days. There was a report, right? We're going to have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to be the number 1, it looks like. People were thinking DeAndre Washington was going to be the number 2. It looks like Darrell Williams might be doing that. These late-round running backs are starting to gain some steam. There's a couple of them going on here. What's your overall preferred strategy? You got the 111. You can do some, you can get 2 good running backs. You can get 2 great wide receivers there, too. What do you think you're going to end up doing?
I mean, it all depends. Like, everyone tries to come in with a strategy, and that's just dumb. Like, I have 10 contingency plans based on who I get first round, who I get second round, and then who's available. Like, it's being able to look at things on the fly and kind of change things. I generally like to get 2 solid running backs is my first 2 picks, but if someone drops to me or if something's not in the cards, then it's fine. Like, luckily I'm real high on Kenyon Drake so far this season, so he's a guy that I'm probably going to end up with. Like, I'm high on Eckler.
He's going a little higher. There's like this Mixon migraine news. I think Drake's going to end up going. Mixon's been falling. Drake's been popping up a couple of spots over recent days.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, exactly. We'll see who's going there. Like Mixon, yeah, he's got that injury issue and still hasn't reported, I don't think. Like, I think they might just be going cautious with him. I wasn't terribly high on Mixon. I don't think I have any shares, and Sanders might not start the season. Like, any number of things can happen. I mean, this is just how fantasy football works. But I just kind of go with the punches to whatever's going on when it gets to me. Like, I don't come in with many plans, and I kind of formulate my plan after about 3 rounds.
I think that's how I approach it too. If you get to one of the first couple of picks, your starting lineup looks really good. And it really depends, right? Like, you're at the 111. If you have a chance to get Michael Thomas at 111, maybe you take him. If you got to take a couple 2 running backs on the turn, maybe you do that. I typically wait 3, 4, maybe even 5 rounds. I'm not really trying to stack anything from the beginning. I let those happen a little bit naturally. But we can see what's happened on here, right? So far, it's been a running back fest. Henry, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Delvin Cook. There goes Michael Thomas. And that leaves me with basically a whole bunch of nonsense here. Miles Sanders, all of his offensive line seems to be hurt. Joe Mixon, he's got some concussion issues. Josh Jacobs, Drake, or Chubb. I'm going to take the known quantity in Josh Jacobs right now. The only one not on an injury report, doesn't have anything going on in the preseason. I'm going to take him, and I'm going to let you handle a couple of these injured running backs possibly.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun when it gets to me. Honestly, I don't really care too much. I'm trying to figure out a fun like obviously I'm going balls out every single time I do one of these. So
It's hard to make a bad pick in the first couple of ones, but it's going to be. I think there's. I don't know. The Miles Sanders. A couple of weeks ago he lost one of his offensive linemen. He just lost another one yesterday for the season. Losing two good offensive linemen to start the season is a little bit of a red flag. You ended up with your boy Drake. They're sort of just sitting him on the sidelines. He's dinged up a little bit. They don't really think it's anything really going on with it. But I don't like to see these preseason injuries, although I do think he's probably not going to have it affect him too much week one.
Yeah. I mean, he might not, but I mean, I have like 100% ownership in him. Drake's one of my favorite running backs. Like, we saw what he did the last 6 weeks of the season last year. We know what Arizona offenses can do with running backs. Like,
the running back thirst is real. Only one wide receiver off the board so far.
Yeah, now I just kind of got it. I'm just going to go with Adams. Like, dude's going to get peppered with targets throughout the course of the season. He's a fantastic wide receiver. Rodgers' best time maybe behind him, but still, it's a spot where he's gonna do some work, and like it's kind of nice having one bell cow running back and one bell cow wide receiver to start things off. There's one running back that we'll get to that I hope, like, he got swooped right before I got him last time, so we'll see if he follows me this time. I think the ladder into the draft is kind of tough. Based on his draft spot, I kind of wait until the last second. If you're a little bit earlier on in the draft, it's easier to get him in the third round or the fifth round. I can't even remember which one it is, but we'll see if he ends up coming to me. But I'm not minding where this draft has started off so far for me.
Yeah, I got Josh Jacobs pretty good for a lot of yards, some touchdowns. I'm hoping he gets some receptions. I ran it back with Austin Eckler. I think he's been pushed down the boards a little too much in my opinion. I think where I took him is pretty reasonable. I think most drafts you can get him towards the end of the second round. That's a little bit too late in my opinion. They got two other running backs behind them. They're going to be a slow offense, but you got this Mike Williams injury. He was going to take some targets. Those are going to go to Keenan Allen. Those are going to go to Austin Eckler to start the season. And even if there's, I don't expect Austin Eckler, if they're 10 points up and they're running clock in the fourth quarter, I don't expect him to really come off the field too much. I think he's going to be their clear, close to near every down running back, and I really like his expectations this
year. Yeah, no, I hear a weird noise coming from somewhere. I have no idea where. I don't know. I
got a fan on me?
No, it's not from you. It's in my house.
Oh,
and it's just hard to tell with things going on. But yeah, no, I like Eckler. Like, now that he's the clear number one back, like, we saw how good he was. I get that Tyrod is going into the offense now instead, and maybe Hibbert at some point. Rivers is a guy that likes to dump the ball off to his running backs a lot. So I don't know how much his overall effectiveness is really going to be changed, but he's definitely a guy that can give you a big week at any given time. Like, he's a guy that can just destroy, and I think he's a guy that, like, I was potentially, before Rivers moved, talking about as the number 3 running back on the board this season, and he still think there is a possibility of doing that again.
And we saw both the quarterbacks, Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, go back-to-back. Those number 1 and number 2 pick teams, they really start to look good. You can get, in theory, none of these guys did, but if you thought Kittle and Kelsey were both off the board, but if you like, say, Chris Godwin to have a really good season, you can, in theory, get 3 players who have the ability to lead each position in fantasy points, which is just, pretty silly in my opinion, which you're allowed to do in those first couple of spots. Both these guys ran it back with other running backs because it's half PPR. The running back thirst is real. The dead zone is coming up in running backs for the next couple of rounds. And then you really end up, rounds 7 through 13 are basically the next tier running backs. And after that, it gets really thin unless you sort of move a couple of the guys up your boards. But I like how this is going. I'm going to expect to see a ton of wide receivers go off the board here in round 3. I'm just hoping a couple I like fall back to me.
Yeah, there's one in particular that I'm hoping falls back to me. And, I mean, we're on a show. We're giving people advice. I don't really care too much about my $25 entry, but something that I've been toying around with or wanted to just happen, and there goes Galladay's off the board.
Mm-hmm.
My strategy was, like, in a lot of these has been get Galladay, get Marvin Jones, and get Stafford. Like, that's one of my favorite stacks. I haven't looked too much into a schedule later on in the season. I don't think it matters too much, but like we know when Stafford goes crazy, it's predominantly to his wide receivers, and it's predominantly to those two wide receivers. Occasionally, Amendola showed up a bit last year, and Hawkinson had a decent game, but he's more of a blocking tight end. So it's a strategy, I think, like where you can get a decent price stack with all the guys going probably undervalued in the Detroit offense. People just remember what Detroit was after week 5 last season, which was beyond trash. But prior to week 5 or prior to week 6, when Stafford went down, like this offense was rolling, like they were putting up big numbers. Without Stafford in the offense, it was entirely different. So I think that like it's definitely a spot where you can absolutely like get some value, get some correlation, get some leverage by getting Stafford.
You're up here too, in case you didn't know.
Okay, I am up. That one. Oh, boom, and yeah, now we're good. Now the contractors are gone. I just got a text.
So you like Gurley? What are your expectations? You just need points at the running back position. So there's a report he's supposed to get between 15 and 25 touches. Thanks for nothing on that one. I'm gonna bet he doesn't get too many 25 touch games. That offense is going to be pretty powerful, in my opinion. I mean, he can just get 10 touchdowns and
so
pretty good.
Like let's look at what Freeman has done virtually every year he's been in the league outside of I think last season. But I'm going to look up Devonta Freeman's stats because that, like, when we hear that, like Gurley, what was he known for while he was with the Rams? While he was not,
he was catching the ball.
Yeah,
and scoring a lot of touchdowns. The catching the ball disappeared though.
Yeah, and so he still had just tons of touchdowns. They used him a ton in the red zone. That's what we saw with Freeman when it was the Freeman-Coleman offense. Freeman was a guy that is essentially what Gurley's going to be in this offense. Yes, Gurley might be well past his prime. Yes, Gurley might be trash. Yes, his knees might be dust, but it also might not be. We know that running backs changing systems can have drastically different careers once they go to a new offense, and the Rams were a bit of a just dumpster fire at certain points last year, and and Gurley was obviously injured a little bit. But I'm just kind of like, if you look at my draft from if we were talking about years ago, like Gurley and David Johnson were fantastic running backs. New systems, new offenses, new usage, like any number of things can happen. Every single year I tell myself I'm not going to draft David Johnson. Then I have almost 100% ownership in David Johnson because I'm an idiot. This could be the year. David Johnson's a guy that I try and get in most of these drafts. Like everyone saw that one clip of looks like he just didn't care and was walking and wasn't fast. Mm-hmm. But David Johnson, like looking at his game logs, looking at how he was doing, yes, it could just be the Cardinals offense because like we saw Edmonds go in there and just absolutely destroy. We saw who was it? Drake go in there and just absolutely destroy. Like it could just be the offense, and yes, running backs don't matter, blah blah blah, all these things. But David Johnson wasn't doing too terrible. Like the first few weeks of the season, he can still catch the ball. He was a wide receiver in college. Like Houston could use him a significant amount. We don't know how much usage he's going to end up getting, but even in a half-point PPR league. Like, if he's just the bell cow, they gave up so much for him for a reason. I think they're going to use him. I think that he could be in for a big year. And I hate myself saying this, and it's probably just going to screw me over because it does every single year. I hate you, David Johnson, but he's still not even 29 years old.
Yeah, I think if he stays healthy, I think he's in line for a good season. I don't even mind Duke Johnson. You get the Johnson & Johnson. You can get the baby powder. You can buy the stock. You can get both running backs. I think Duke has some standalone value. And if David Johnson does go down, I think he could be a reasonably good running back. He's one of my favorite late-round targets at the running back position. But that offense is going to be good. I know DeAndre Hopkins left, but Watson's just too good to let that team fall apart. And I think they're going to give David Johnson the feature role to start because, I mean, after that trade, you have to.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're absolutely giving him the feature role. Like how much nowadays in the NFL, like going with a just straight up one running back unless you have Barkley, McCaffrey, or Zeke. Like, it's not even something to do. I mean, we know how good Kamara is, and he still doesn't get just the entirety of the offense at any given year unless the number 2 back is injured. So you never know what they're going to do, and obviously O'Brien is just an idiot. But, like, David Johnson could be in for 20 carries a game. He could be in for 30 carries a game. He could be in for 15 touches a game. You don't know.
I just went ahead and took a DeAndre Swift. He's someone I just think he Kerryon Johnson, those knees are toast. He basically even said that. I'm in on DeAndre Swift. I expect him to get pardon the pun here, the Lions' share of the carries, right? Before you see what
I see what you did there. Classic comedy.
Just even a couple weeks into the season, I think he's too good of a talent for them to really keep off the field, in my opinion. So I like DeAndre Swift. You get all those indoor games. You get Matt Stafford. I know they don't like to run the ball too much, but I'm just in on DeAndre Swift now.
I'm really liking my team so far.
You got a nice little balanced 4 running backs. David Montgomery's a little dicey. I'll give you.
I know he's out 2 to 4 weeks, but
yeah.
Like the fact that I got Gurley, I got David Johnson, I got Drake. Like Montgomery can absolutely give me some big weeks. I'm fine with him missing a little bit. Like I have 4 running backs now, and I like a lot of the wide receivers that are on the board. I just got Keenan Allen, who I'm a big fan of. I mean, obviously the offense is going to be a little bit different, but you mentioned Mike Williams' injury. That Keenan Allen's going to get a ton of targets. Like I really like Keenan Allen. I'm a big fan of him. He had a little bit of an off season last year, but Keenan Allen's the best route runner in the entire NFL potentially. No, Antonio Brown isn't in here. Like he may not be fast, but the guy, we've seen him get just ridiculous amount of targets. What was it? 2017, he had 159. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know how this offense is going to go with a new quarterback in here, but I don't care. Like he gets massive touchdown equity. He's only had 6 a year, even though he's gotten tons of targets. He can go for 10 touchdowns in any given year, especially with a new quarterback behind the helm who is not going to turn the ball over as much. Like Rivers turned the ball over a ton. That offense was just ridiculous at sometimes, but Tyrod could be a guy that like will probably just force the ball into Keenan Allen 5 to 10 yards down the field on a consistent basis. And Keenan Allen could be in for 160 targets this year.
Yeah, he gets a little unloved too because he's a little tougher to stack with because you don't know, is Tyrod Taylor going to play 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, the whole season? Is Justin Herbert, is he going to play 4 weeks, 8 weeks, right? So it's a little tougher to stack. And if you're, I think he just goes a little bit down the board because if people are trying to get some stacks, it's a little hard to pick that San Diego Chargers or LA Chargers quarterback here. I want to go over, I got a little time between my next picks, and I want to give basically my strategy, what I've done here. I wasn't planning on anything, but it's just how it fell in, right? I don't go into a draft with a strategy. I've got 4 running backs, all with different bye weeks. I've got Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, and I just picked up Kareem Hunt. Grant, I'm done at running back. I'm just going to roll out 4. I'm expecting these guys to play to get me points. If they don't, right, if Austin Eckler and Josh Jacobs aren't scoring what we think they're going to, I'm not going to win anyway. I got Swift and Hunt, too. I think both of those guys are good. If those guys don't have good years, I'm not going to win. I'm going to stock up at my other positions there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping one guy gets back to me. I don't think he will. Did he just get taken? Yep, he just got taken. Dang it.
Who are you looking for, Deontay?
Johnson, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he goes way too high in my opinion. There's like, well, the underdog ADP is very sharp. So there, he goes maybe around where he does. But like I would have taken Jarvis Landry 100 out of 100 times over Deontay Johnson.
So it's interesting, like Ben Roethlisberger being back. Like, think about the wide receivers he's had over the years. Think about what they've done. Are you drinking beer? I hope so.
No, just water with some flavor.
Yeah, I like my water.
It's just, truly time in a little bit. After the show, it's truly lemonade time.
Yeah, no, I've got to go down to Colorado Springs later, so I can't drink until later tonight. But, yeah, no, like we look at Ben Roethlisberger throughout the course of his career. What he had, Hines and Randall L. Like he's had 2 solid wide receivers the entire time, and he's used both. Like even when Antonio Brown was the top wide receiver in the league, what was it, 2 years ago? Like Juju immediately came in and crushed. Like he spreads the ball to both wide receivers fairly often. So like I think a solid drafting strategy is not even to take Juju, but to take Johnson and Roethlisberger and maybe Connors, knowing that he dumps the ball off to the running back quite a bit. And Pittsburgh, with him back in the offense, can still have a massive season.
I'm going to take I just took Jalen Reagor. I'm going to hope I'm allowed to complete my Philadelphia stack on the turn here with Carson Wentz. I think that offensive line getting hurt isn't great, but I passed on Miles Sanders. I'm going to lean on the passing game with a bunch of jabronis last year. Wentz had like 4,000 yards. I'm hoping Reagor probably won't get Deshaun Jackson. His ADP is just too high, on underdog. People take him way too early, in my opinion. But if I can, I'll try to do that. But I think I'm going to try to grab Carson Wentz if I can. And if not, I got a couple other targets on my sleeve.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who to go with here. Like, I really don't like anyone. I'm just going full on heavy running back. Wide receivers are worthless. They're pointless. Don't need them.
You got 5 good running backs. I don't think you need to go any more past that, in my opinion.
No, I mean, my plan is pretty much to have my running back take care of my flex every single week. Because, like, Montgomery and Howard both, like, Howard's obviously in Miami. Who knows what will end up happening. But I think it'll be a different offense. I think they'll be a little bit more involved with him. He's definitely a guy that has some decent touchdown equity, and he's a guy that is just a decent running back overall. So who knows how that'll end up going out. But I got my 3 – there's question marks around almost every single guy in my offense. Or every single guy that in my draft, all the running backs, like Drake, who knows, Edmonds going to end up taking over some.
You
like
got Drake, Gurley, David Johnson, Montgomery, Jordan. I like Jordan. I think the Dolphins are going to be good. That's positive for Jordan Howard. He's not going to catch a lot of passes, but 80 yards and a touchdown, that's good for you that late in the draft.
Yeah, no. So, like, that's the thing. It's not even 80 yards and a touchdown I'm hoping for. If Howard's going into my lineup, that either means one of my running backs busted or he had one of his 3 touchdown games. Like, he can definitely, like, when you're looking at best balls, yes, you want a guy that's going to get consistent numbers just in case number of things can happen, but you need to win your division, win your whatever it's called, league, win your draft, I guess is what it is, your 12-man, in order to get into the playoffs for this best ball format. So getting a guy like Jordan Howard, who's going to occasionally put up a big game, if you already have 4 other solid running backs, which I mean, I've never had a draft where I've had this many running backs this early on and just far gone wide receivers. But now I've got Ingram, who's going to have a consistent target basis throughout the course of the season. And as long as he ends up staying healthy, should be fine. I might go tight end. I might have like just a long list of wide receivers.
I'm going to pull up the one team. There's only one team who's doing like basically no running back so far. It's Odyssey's. He's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Then he's got Dak with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. So he's basically going for the Dallas stock with Metcalf, Diggs, Jones. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got to hit some gold later on in running back. But, I mean, his wide receivers are looking pretty strong. It's so hard, in my opinion, to do the 0 RB on underdog. Your wide receivers look good, but that half PPR, it's kicking the nuts sometimes.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like, it really changes things around quite a bit. But yeah, like it's just how, like, you just got to roll with the punches. Going in with it, like I said, going in with a certain strategy at any given time is just dumb. Like, being able to. I
just want to say, right, real quick here, if you guys let me get Deshaun Jackson, I'm okay with that. Like, that's cool, right? I'll let you guys have your stack. Deshaun Jackson, right, goes to my team, right? Like, I'm just saying. We'll all play nicer.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you have him. I don't really feel like him, although I do need some wide receivers. I definitely need some wide receivers.
There goes Tariq Cohen. He's going to get a little boost. I like him more, if you're playing on like the PPR best ball. That's where he really shines. But he's going to have a couple of weeks where he, catches 6 passes for 60 yards and gets in the end zone.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out who I want to go with here. It's tough. I don't know. I was thinking about going with Gronk, but I think he just went off the board. Oh, is he still on here?
Yeah, Gronk's still on there. There's a lot of good tight ends. If I don't get It's basically, to me, it's Kelsey, Kittle in that second round, the late second. I like Mark Andrews quite a bit. I think he has the ability to be a wide receiver one. Who did it? Torpedo, where are you? Ban him. He's banned. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are able to draft whoever you want here. Looks like I'm just going to have to try to get another part of that Philadelphia offense. I'm up here. I am definitely going wide receiver. A couple of the guys I wanted are gone here. Let's see here. Maybe a quarterback. We got Stafford. I'm going to wait a quarterback. All right. So I'm going to go with a guy I have a pretty solid take on. That's Anthony Miller. I'm taking him early. I like him to be close to a top 20 wide receiver. There ain't no one else to throw the ball to in Chicago. It's Allen Robinson and it's Anthony Miller. If the dude stays healthy, he's going to have a big season.
Yeah, man, I thought Higbee would have gone off the board. I was talking about Gronk, but Higbee's the easy answer.
Yeah, I like Higbee. Some people are, hey, he's going to be sharing the field again with the other tight end. But the Rams running game, I do like Akers. I think the volume is going to be there for him basically from the start of the season. But that rush game offense, they have one of the toughest strength of schedules out there. So I think the Rams, if they're smart, if we can read into all that stuff this early in the season, always a little bit of a dice roll. They project to throw the ball quite a bit, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Manny Sanders?
I like him. I mean, you get the second wide receiver. I mean, he's leap years ahead of Traquan Smith in terms of talent. I mean, he's gonna get his share of footballs thrown at him this year.
Yeah, so we know what this offense has been. Like, we know Thomas is just going to get an absurd amount of targets, but like for the way that now I'm just going boomer bust guys. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. It's boomer bust guys. I'm going to get a ton of wide receivers that any one of them can put up a big week at any given time. Like Sanders, we remember what that offense was with Ted Ginn. Occasionally would have a massive game for no apparent reason. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And Sanders is a guy that still has a bunch of talents, can still run routes. I know he's old and all that stuff, but doesn't matter. Like, he can absolutely be in for a big workload here. He's going to have 1 to 2 weeks of putting up 25 fantasy points. Like, I'm really happy I got him, and it's going to be interesting who I end up getting the rest of the draft. It's going to be a hodgepodge of guys that are going to go off for big weeks occasionally, but that's just what I need. Like, playing for the playoffs, but I'm also playing for once I get in the playoffs, and any number of guys can have massive outings. So I'm outside of quarterback, I'm predominantly just going with a whole lot of wide receivers for the rest of the draft.
Yeah, the tight end run has just occurred in the last couple of picks. Tyler Higbee, TJ Hawkinson. I took Hayden Hurst, Mike Gesicki, Jared Cook just off the board. So the tight end run is on.
Yeah.
I like to start the run. I was up at the beginning of it. I like Hurst quite a bit. We saw Austin Hooper. Like, Austin Hooper's – I actually like Austin Hooper. I think he's a great tight end to get after all these guys go off the board. But if Austin Hooper can do it, Grant, so can Hayden Hurst. There's going to be targets in that offense.
Absolutely. I mean, throughout the course of his career, Matt Ryan has liked to throw the tight end quite a bit. Granted, he did have Tony Gonzalez for a small portion of it. But, yeah, Hooper did it. Like, Hurst has got some talent. So I'm right there with you. I mean, I preferred Higbee a little bit just because of the potential volume they could end up having. Like, that offense might end up throwing the ball a whole lot more this year. We've seen Goff go up for 50 throws in a game. They obviously paid him a ton of money. Yes, he still has Woods and Kupp to throw to. But we saw, even with those guys and Cook in the offense, like, him still go drastically to Higbee. So I have a lot of love for Higbee, and I didn't think he would drop all the way back to me.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't going to make it back to you here. But we see wide receiver run. There's a lot of good wide receivers. Let's see here. What am I doing? Here we go. Back on board here. I mean, the wide receiver board is still pretty stacked. You got about 3 rounds left before the wide receivers start to get dicey. You used to be able to get, a month ago on Underdog, you used to be able to get great wide receivers with your last pick. It does not happen as often anymore. The late round spots are basically tight ends. You can get reasonably good tight ends that will score a couple of spike weeks on a touchdown here and there. But, I mean, after the 14th round, I'm finding now it's just a whole bunch of garbage on the board most of the time.
Yeah, I really like that Preston Williams pick there.
I like him quite a bit too.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Miami offense is going to be a lot better than people realize. I mean, yeah, their line still might not be as great as some other teams, but Williams was absolutely crushing for a little bit before things happened. I mean, you look at it, he only had 7 games they were playing, or 8 games they ended up playing, and he put up decent numbers, but a lot of that was with Rosen behind center, and Rosen is just horrible. Like, he had that game where I think he went off for 2 touchdowns and he was getting peppered with targets and they just weren't scoring a ton of points. But, like, he's absolutely a guy who can go off for a massive season. I'm happy with him or with Devontae in my offense on these best balls because I think one of them is going to have a massive season, maybe both.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm coming up on the clock here. Oh, man. I got some tough decisions. I'm going to go wide receiver here. Oh, actually, you know what? Do I have Evans? Do I want Tom Brady? I think I'm going to pass. I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy. I just think
Dang it.
He was just like one of the best wide receiver prospects. You got Sutton. You had Hamler out there. Looks like he's going to miss a little bit to start the season, and Tim Patrick's going to be the number 3 out there. But it's going to be Sutton, and Jeudy can overtake Sutton by the end of the season. I think is the team's number 1 target. You got Noah Fant out there too. I like him, but I don't have a lot of Jeudy. I've been avoiding a lot of the rookie wide receivers. This draft's a little bit different for me, right? I got Rieger. I just got Jeudy. I'm going to mix it up a little bit, get a little bit diversified in my overall best portfolio. I think I probably only drafted Jeudy a couple of times out of, 100 best ball drafts I've done so far, Frank.
That is more than 99. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That's math. I really like everyone's assuming Sutton, which Sutton's great, but you don't really know. Like a new wide receiver coming in, a fairly young quarterback, like the chemistry can build between any number of wide receivers in the offense. Like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, and like this offense can go any number of different ways over out in Denver. So I really like Jeudy as a late round guy. I was really hoping he would fall to me. You really fudged me over there, my friend. Yeah. It looks like I'm not going to be stacking up any of my.
Would you just take Big Ben?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting 300 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns, I mean, sure, it stinks not to have it. There's a couple. There's a James Washington. There's a Eric Ebron out there. You can make something work.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I target guys that can spread the ball all around the field and can do it with multiple different wide receivers, stacking isn't a necessity in a given game. Like Brady, yes, it's going to be probably Galladay or Godwin, or it's going to be Evans in any given week where Brady goes off, but he can pass the ball to the running back. He's got multiple tight ends there. Like, not needing to stack. Like, if I'm doing things, like I'm getting guys that can put up massive games without actually having a guy just go off. Like, and I'm talking, when I say go off, like I'm talking 2 touchdowns and 100 yards. So any number of games where Roethlisberger has a massive outing, like it might not be fully Juju, it might not be fully Johnson, it could be Washington there, it could be Connor. So if I'm getting a quarterback where I don't have any wide receivers or anyone paired with him, it's basically just relying on the fact that he could put up one of the top, if not the top QB score that weekend, and it not be a necessity in the playoffs to have one of his wide receivers with him.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. We got the board. The board's always a sweet little way to track what's going on. I believe of the main sites that have best ball, currently Underdog is the only one that has this. So nice little feature to see what's going on. A couple of Indianapolis receivers. Do you want the new rookie and Michael Pittman? You want the old rookie and Paris Campbell? Which one would you prefer? They want 2 picks apart here, Grant.
I mean, I don't really care for either of them.
I like both.
I just don't really need either of them.
There goes Hooper or Fant. I was hoping one of those would make it back to me, but no. To get a basically full-time lock for most snaps tight end in the 12th round, that is some good value right there.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what, like, my wide receivers are trash right now. Like, I mean, they're not good, but I still have Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, who like may not put up massive games every single week, but they are going to put up good games every single week and give me a consistent floor. And I can hope my running backs end up going off on every single week, and I have one of them at the flex. But I'm trying to figure out guys that can go off. Like, I may just get a ton of depth right now at wide receiver, and hope for big games out of them occasionally.
I'm coming up in 1 second, and then I'll switch it to your team real quick. So let me figure out mine. I'll switch the screen for everyone, and you can kind of go over what you're thinking about in your head for your 2 picks coming up here in just a second.
Yeah.
Brady's off the board. All right. I am definitely going to take Dallas Goedert if it gets to me. Just to pair with Carson Wentz. It's getting to the point where if I don't take him, he's not going to come back to me. So I'll take that, get a little bit of a Philadelphia stack. I got to figure out what I'm doing. But, Grant, I'll bring up your team for everybody. What do you think you're going to be doing here?
I mean, John Ross, I guess. Like,
it's that time of the draft.
Yeah, go balls out. I mean, guy's quick. Who knows how he'll mesh with his new quarterback? But it's just not great. Like, there's a chance, like, he's got talent. There's a reason why he was drafted so high up. And I need someone else. Gosh, this is getting ugly. We'll see. A lot of mouths to feed in the Arizona offense.
I mean, I like Fitz to get. I mean, you're going to get week 1. You're going to get like 20 fantasy points, and then that's all you need for him for the rest of the season, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I'm going to have a whole bunch of wide receivers going right now.
I wasn't planning on taking you don't need Jared Goff. Why did you do that?
I always love when people go on this show
Goff.
just to F us over.
Oh, my goodness. I am pissed off right now.
I am PO'd right now. Tell you what.
I'm gonna take Randall Cobb, and he already had 2 quarterbacks, and he comes up and he takes Jared Goff. I thought that was the lock of all locks. He's got no Rams, and K-Town. Oh man, I swear people do this just to tilt me out of nowhere.
Oh, I know I do. I intentionally. We've been doing draft underdog shows for a while now. You know, I intentionally do stuff just to piss you off, at the expense of my money.
All right, let's go back to the board here. Let's see what's happening. Kendrick Bourne, Jack Doyle. Doyle always in line to get some fantasy points, but he's never going to be like the feature guy pretty much any single week. But he should be out there for most of the snaps. This is where I said the end of the 14th round, it starts getting ugly. We are approaching the end of the 14th round where there's not much left on the board. There goes James Washington. There's a couple I might take a shot. I got a couple like last round running back picks I'm interested in. I might have lied. I might take one more running back with my last pick. I got to see. What do I got here? So I got Wentz, Jacobs, Eckler, Swift, Hunt, right? I think that's a pretty good running back crew. I got Mike Evans, Robert Woods, Jalen Reagor, Anthony Miller, Jerry Jeudy. Gets a little dicey. Got Lazard. Is he going to be the number 2? Is it going to be Marquise Valdes-Scantling? Is it going to be someone else? I think Lazard's probably going to have the first shot. I got Randall Cobb. He's going to have a couple good weeks in that Houston offense. I got Hurst and Goddard. I probably need another tight end. I don't feel comfortable with just those 2. I'll probably pick up another one, but I gotta see if there's anything I can stack up with my whatever quarterback I pick coming up
here. Yeah. I know. I might do something weird here. No, he's already off the board.
I wish I knew who the Chicago quarterback was going to be. That's up in the air still. I think it's going to be Nick Foles. They traded for him. They got to pay him a lot of money.
Did he opt out? No, wait, he didn't opt out. Why did I think he opted out? I don't know. This is such a confusing season.
I mean, there's like no positive COVID tests. Barring something unforeseen, I really don't see the NFL having many problems. Maybe once they start traveling, but I'm pretty these teams are going to be on lockdown by their teams. Like the players, when they go on travel, these guys aren't going partying out the night before. They're going to be on lockdown. So I don't think COVID's going to be too big of a deal. They got the new 15-minute rapid test too. That's going to be great for all of society.
Yeah,
that's going to be coming out. So I think we're starting to get our hands around COVID there.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely constantly getting better. I mean, I sat on a nice outdoor patio yesterday and enjoyed some chips and queso.
Yeah, there's a place right down my street. It was a gardening facility. They had transitioned into a brewery last year, but now their entire business is basically brewery and food outside. They got a whole new parking lot, and I can literally just ride my bike to it in a minute. It's perfect.
Oh man, biggest improvement in my life is having scooters around. Like scooters.
I don't live in the big city. I got a nice, sized little town, but I don't know. I've never liked the scooters in the big cities.
I mean, they're very dangerous. I'll tell you that. I've seen far too many people crash on those, and always interesting. But like, it's perfect.
Who just took Drew Lock on me? These bastards. Broranosaurus, all right. I understand. Let's see. You got Cortland Sutton. All right. I'll give it to you. All right. You go. You win like $100 million every single day. I'm just gonna have to wing it on a quarter. If I don't take a quarterback here, I'm not getting one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly happy.
I'm gonna like Minshew. I don't have a receiver, but he's got some running ability.
Oh, great. Thanks for screwing over my draft.
Yeah, I just hope – I forgot to double-check he's got a different bye than Carson Wentz. That would have sucked, but he does.
Yeah, let's see. Thanks for reminding me.
There goes Westbrook, too. I was hoping I could get him.
Yeah, me. You screwed over my plan of getting Minshew and Westbrook.
All right. This is the point of the – nothing's worse than you getting sniped in like the last 2 rounds of the draft on players you really want.
And I'm trying to figure out if there's anyone I can pair. And nope, there is not.
Oh, I know what I can do. I got an idea. I got a plan, Grant. There goes Carr. There go. I can't believe Tannehill's still here. I know nobody wants him, but
I mean, yeah, sort of. We'll see how this ends up going.
All right, let's see. I need one more.
Tyreek's injury. I got real.
We just got picked Ito Smith already. None of him. I'm going to go with camp superstar Brian Edwards. I'm surprised he hasn't been taken. I'm going to go ahead and take him. That Tyrell Williams labrum shoulder injury, those can be real tough for wide receivers. They basically can't raise their hands over their head. Seems like that's important to catch football sometimes, Grant.
I've heard that it is. I've heard that it's tough. Yeah. This draft is getting away from me real bad.
Let's see. What'd you go with here? You picked Carr. I took your Brian Edwards.
Yeah, that was the problem. I was hoping I could get Edwards and then Williams. Hopefully Edwards would show some potential, and then when Williams actually comes back in, he stays in the starting lineup. But I don't know. Like, who knows? Maybe Mariota will take over the starting position. So might be screwed up.
Let's see what we got going on here. There goes Traquan. I like him. There's only if you're looking for a late round wide receiver who can post a couple of good games, not the worst idea in the world to get one tied to Drew Brees playing indoors like 11 or 12 games this year. Could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
I got 2 picks. I know who one of my picks is going to be for sure. And then I think I'm going to take a late round running back on my final pick. I think I lied when I said I was done at running back. Olabisi Johnson. I like him. Oh, Grant, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. Your internet's getting a little spotty. I don't know if you can tell that or not.
Internet's fine.
Not on our end. But if you can hear me, Let me know what you're thinking here to close out your team. Grant has disappeared. So this is now just the Britt Devine solo show to close this out. Only a couple picks left. Ryan Tannehill. If I knew Ryan Tannehill was available in the 17th round, I wouldn't have stacked anybody. I would have just taken Ryan Tannehill in the 17th round. So Dark Manilik, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sam Darnold. These guys should have all been off the board much earlier than this. Tua, always a little risky with Tua. Don't know when he's going to start playing.
Was not my internet. That was Zoom crashing.
Oh, there you go. You back?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Zoom crashed on me.
What was that? Their stock's at like $500 billion or something like that. Just always goes up. They got to make it better.
Yeah, just don't. It's crashed me a few times. I don't entirely know why. I'm trying to figure out who to go with here, and
this has been insane. The to get all these quarterbacks this late in the draft is pretty insane to me.
Yeah,
I'm going to take Tyler Eifert to pair with my Gardner Minshew. He's basically the every down tight end for a team that's going to be down a lot and throwing. So my tight end room, I got Hurst, Goddard, and Eifert. I'm cool with that. I got 2 stacks at the tight end position.
Antonio Brown.
I don't hate it. I think I would have taken him if your team was, let's see, you got Roethlisberger, Carr. You're good at running back. Yeah, I don't hate it for your team. I think that makes some sense. You've got Devontae Adams, who basically should score every single week. So to get,
and I got Keenan Allen, who will get 7 catches a week.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I'd imagine he plays a couple of weeks of football.
Yeah,
Imagine getting that boost in your team makes it to the playoffs.
Yeah. What is it? Okay. Yeah, my pick. I didn't think my pick went through. All right. Well, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
Oh no, Darrell Williams already got drafted. All right, so I'm gonna have to take another late round running back. I'm going to take Giovanni Bernard. With all this Mixon news, I'm a little scared. You get these migraines. Migraines ended Percy Harvin's career. That is scary.
A lot of things ended Percy Harvin's career.
The migraines, to be able, if Giovanni Bernard has a couple of games where he even scores for my team, money on your last pick. Him going basically undrafted in most leagues is a little – I don't understand that. If you're out there looking for a couple late-round running backs, I'll throw a couple. Jamal Williams, I don't understand why he's basically going undrafted. I know they drafted A.J. Dillon. But Jamal Williams is going to get some run, and I like Rex Burkhead as well. Always is going to have a couple of games where he's going to end up scoring for your team. So those are probably a couple late-round running backs if you're out there searching late in drafts for them.
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, Hyde.
I mean,
Hamler. Let's see what the board's going off. The problem with this, normally on the fast drafts, you get 1 or 2 people who might not be paying attention. The problem with these shows, everyone's paying attention.
Yeah.
There goes Jamal Williams, Carlos Hyde. They're taking all the guys, Grant.
I mean, Penny. I think he's still out for the first few weeks, but he was showing some promise. Who's got the highest projection?
Grant, you are not the highest projection. I am. Where's my team?
I'm higher than yours,
6,
so
3,
suck
1.
it.
My team sucks. Eagles won. I guess that really you can't really tell too much. Really nice though. If you want to promote your team on Twitter afterwards, guys, and you're playing along, you click your team in the top right. There's a little thing you could share that to all your friends. You can see your team exposure. You can see your bye week exposures. Week 9 is going to be tough. That's going to be tough for a lot of people. They give you a real good idea of what actually you did in the draft if you want to take a look at it. But overall, great thing. Again, this is on Underdog Fantasy. If you haven't joined, you can download it from your app store or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. If you sign up, use promo code GRINDERS. You don't get the deposit bonus. There's nothing like that, but you do get entered into a free roll or some sort of contest we're running where you are able to either win Roto-Grinders Premium for a little while or get some Roto-Grinders swag. So once again, that's promo code GRINDERS. if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. And again, this was the $25 Best Ball Mania. If $25 is too much, they do have a $5 version. It is called the Bubble, and that is filling much faster than the Best Ball Mania. So if you want to get into that, I would tell you don't wait too much longer. It's probably going to be off the board in a couple of days. Grant, dude, it's been fun. Sorry Zoom crashed on you, but any final thoughts for the people?
Just look for my tweet in about 4 weeks and screaming at David Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully not. I like David Johnson. I like that Texans offense quite a bit this year. All right, guys. Thanks to all you for watching and participating. We really appreciate it here at Roto Grinders. And for Grant, I'm Britt. We out you.